that because of the president's decisive action, we have severely damaged Iran's critical nuclear infrastructure. I think we have to be prepared for Iran to retaliate. And I join the president in his warning to the supreme leader of Iran that if he targets Americans, the military force he will see will make last night look like child's play.
There was no imminent threat to the United States from this nuclear program. It was an offensive war of choice by a president without consultation with Congress. I fear deeply we're being misled about this, just as we were before we tragically got into a war with Iraq.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle reacting to the U.S. military strikes against Iran. With us now, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. She's the author of the new book titled Far From Home. An Alaska senator faces the extreme climate of Washington, D.C., and how much more extreme it's gotten lately. We'll get to the book in a moment. Thank you so much for being with us, Senator. I just wanted to read what you had said about the strikes. President Trump's decision to carry out focused strikes on Iran's nuclear infrastructure makes clear that the international community will not tolerate a nuclear-armed Iran. I commend all those who executed this mission with precision and professionalism. We've been quoting all morning the UN and the IAEA report that Iran may have had enough uranium within a couple of weeks to create several weapons. Talk about the dangers that would present, and if that's why you supported these strikes.
I think we do recognize clearly these are dangers that we don't even want to dream about because of the potential and the threat that exists. So what we saw over the weekend was we saw a commander-in-chief who made a very decisive decision to go after Iran's nuclear capabilities. I think it is yet to be seen exactly how much we were able to contain that. We're going to be learning a little bit more, but I think it was presented to us that we're still determining the extent of the damage, and thus how much remains to be dealt with.
What should the Senate learn next from the White House? What would you like in the briefings? What would you like the White House to have you all read in on?
Well, this briefing is coming up Tuesday. We'll have an opportunity to be read into the details, of course, of the strike. But I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about just the legal justification, as well as the matters to which the administration, the president, looked to that led to, again, a very, I think, well orchestrated and, again, a very targeted, decisive strike against these three locations. So we won't know everything, but I think what we're expecting, what I'm hoping for, is a full disclosure to us about what allowed them to proceed with the confidence that they did.
So, Senator, we heard from President Trump a few moments ago, just a moment, all caps, Truth Social post concerned about oil prices. Right. So that's certainly front of mind as well. Let's turn now, if we could, to, and there we see it on the screen, let's turn now to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, which has been sort of pushed to the side a little bit because of what's been happening in the Middle East. There had been a hope to get this done by July 4th. That seems the clock is ticking towards that. And there are a lot of hurdles that still need to be cleared in the Senate. Talk to us, if you will, about where you think things stand, but also your concerns about this piece of legislation. I know you've deemed it aggressive in terms of some of its spending cuts.
So where we are right now, the news, of course, has been focused on Iran, but I think it is fair to say that throughout the weekend, many of the teams were working to determine where things were in the parliamentarian process, where things are kicked out if they don't meet our reconciliation rules. That is still in process. I think it's going to take another couple days. So we're not going to be in a position to actually have the text as members to really know. Everyone wants to know, how are you going to vote on it? Well, let's define what it is clearly. that is still in process, and we'll know. We're gonna be pushing up against some really aggressive deadlines. Leader Thune has made very clear he wants to stick with July 4th. I am one that would rather focus on good policy rather than trying to meet an arbitrary timeline. And so if we've got to go past the 4th of July to get a bill that is good for not just Republicans, but for Americans, people in Alaska in very remote and rural areas, people who are feeling very vulnerable right now, let's try to get it right.
Senator, let's talk about your book and your remarkable political career. You are an independent in every sense of the word, losing a primary as a Republican, running as an independent, winning, sending a message, I think, to future Republican and Democratic presidents who worked with you that you follow your conscience and your line. Talk about your start in politics and the long and winding road it has taken you down to where you are right now.
All right, now how am I supposed to be doing that in a couple minutes here, Joe? But I appreciate the open-ended question. I didn't set out to be a politician. I certainly didn't set out to be a United States senator. In many ways, I'm kind of that accidental a person who ends up in a very interesting position. But I have managed to navigate now two decades in the United States Senate. And I think it's just because I've been anchored in who I am and where I'm from. My Alaskanness shows through in just about everything that I do every day. And representing a very independent constituency, people that aren't really so caught up in the political rhetoric that goes on, but just what's important to me and my family and to our state. So it's more than a little bit extreme here right now in many ways, but how you navigate each day, staying focused on the values that brought you here. This is what I try to portray in the book.
And Senator, your willingness to be independent shines through. Often you are one of the few Republicans who defies the president from time to time. And talk to us about the character there of the state. Why do you think being Alaskan leads to that? Is it because of the distance from Washington? Is it because of just this sense of spirit that you have to rely on yourself there because, well, you're out there kind of on your own?
We are on our own in many senses of the word, but geography does really help to provide that level of separation. But I think that there's a resilience in the Alaska people. You got to figure it out. Winters are tough. Life can be tough. And so how you make it happen on your own or relying on your neighbors, your community, is really important. And so it's not so much what are the political values that you can bring to the table, but can you fix my four-wheeler? Can you provide for fish and meat in your community? These are the things that people look at and say, now there's real value. If you're just a talker, not so very impressed. So it's very humbling coming from a place like Alaska, but again, it grounds me, it anchors me in a way that is as genuine as anything that I could define.
The new book, Far From Home, an Alaska senator faces the extreme climate of Washington, D.C., is on sale tomorrow. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you.
And congratulations on the book.